All right, now the real reason you folks are here is to meet our fantastic grads and the class, the fall 2015 class of Startup Institute. It's my pleasure to introduce Jack Anderson kicking things off for us.
Every Saturday I play tabletop RPGs with some friends I met online last summer. I've always loved these sorts of games. I've always found them very interesting because of the way that they use mathematics to bring fantasy to life. I've always loved mathematics. That's what caused me to get bachelor's degrees in mathematics and computer science. But even with my knowledge of C, C++, Java, Python, Ruby, could I use that knowledge to solve practical problems? I came to Startup Institute because I wanted to learn new technologies, meet new people, and return to the city I grew up in. But I ended up learning a lot about myself. I learned that I'm capable of more than I thought I was. I went to a startup here in Boston. I learned their back-end system, and I made new functional additions to their API. And now I'm looking forward to proving myself as the newest member of your development team. So, if you're looking for someone who is excited to learn new things and do new things, then come find me after the program. And together we'll find out what I'm really capable of.
Treehouse loves Jeff. This is my favorite email subject line for two reasons. One, someone loves me. That's nice. Two, it's personal, intriguing, and it builds rapport. In my last position, I built an inbound marketing campaign from scratch, learning every step along the way. In 8 months' time, I grew the mailing list from 0 to 700, increased organic traffic by over 30%, and increased quality leads for my organization. I'm looking to take that experience and bring it to a high-growth startup with a focus on email marketing. I have experience designing and coding HTML email, and I love the challenge of taking a mailing list of thousands and bringing it into one-on-one conversations that nurtures leads, builds relationships, and ultimately grows revenue. So if you're looking for a highly skilled, highly passionate email marketer, the next subject line I'd like to fall in love with is Jeff. Welcome to the team.
I've always loved designer James Victoria's idea that everyone's work is a gift. And when you view your work as a gift, it changes why you work and who you work for. Because you're no longer doing it just for the paycheck. You're doing it to make your and collaborative. To contribute to others. And for me, that looks like working as a marketing designer for a smaller mission-based company. So if I can help you or your company, I would love to talk.
Hi guys, I love to grow things. That's my farm. I grew up on a farm. My earliest memories is planting acres and acres of corn by hand with my father. I love to grow things.
I got my hands dirty at a young age, and I still get my hands dirty now. At Macy's, in the height of the recession, with a team of 20 people, I grew my men's department business 18%. At a small gastro pub in Connecticut, I grew my business 40%, generating over $2 million in revenue. 20 would be great, but 2 seems better. That's good. And at the inside sales role in Long Island, Connecticut, Long Island, New York, I turned a $5,000 opportunity into over $100,000 of closed business. My name is Matthew. It's great to meet everybody today. Looking for an inside sales role at a startup here in Boston. What are important to me are team, culture, and company growth. I grew crops as a child. I grow companies as an adult. If you're looking to plant an idea or grow your company, you know who to call.
My first day in the French monastery, while we were cleaning up the cemetery garden, Sister St. Francis took her shears and plunged them into a slug, then looked up at me and said, "He's gone to slug heaven." In life and in work, I always love the gory details. While managing engineers, I taught myself HTML, CSS, PHP, and SQL so I could be more effective. I got a crash course in entrepreneurship when I co-founded a feminist zine, and an excellent quantitative education while working as a strategy consultant to Fortune 1000 companies. In the early days of the internet, I got to pull these skills together at an early online community that I helped grow from 1 to 1 million users. I came to Startup Institute to return to tech, this time as a developer. To my existing skill set, I've added Ruby and Rails, Python, and work with APIs. I look forward to continuing this journey with people who love community, who love technology, and who also love slugs.
I believe in words. I first wrote this sentence for a 6th grade English assignment, but over time it's grown from a love for reading and writing to a passion and belief in the power of language as a tool. As a collegiate rower, I noticed firsthand how my body would respond to different forms of rhetoric. When the coxswain told us to pull harder, I would roll my eyes, go through the motions, and do my job. But when she told us to take a breath, slam with the legs, and bury the competition, my heart rate would rise, my adrenaline would spike, and I would push my body's limits. This is the difference between good words and great rhetoric. It's the distinction between people believing in your mission or not, between acting on a mission, between acting on a message or not. It's the distinction that I look for within my own writing, from publishing my senior thesis in the Atlantic Monthly to blogging and developing content for an early stage startup. At the Startup Institute, I worked to ground this passion for writing with a foundation of marketing. And now, I want to make the most compelling argument possible for why your vision matters. I believe in finding words that make your heart rate rise and your adrenaline spike. I believe in eliciting action through language. What do you believe in?
A former Miss America program contestant, now certified judge, I am Nicole Bike. Career pivoting is like a pageant. In a pageant, a large part of your score is talent. I was the youngest on-air intern ever at KISS 108 and loved interacting with listeners and communicating feedback to station managers. As a certified public accountant, I developed analytical skills and used my SQL and Excel experience to streamline processes. At SI, I focused on marketing analytics and even became Google Analytics certified. The last 4 remaining parts of a pageant are interview, swimsuit, evening wear, and onstage question. Judges are looking for personality, confidence, and poise. This is like culture. A successful career pivot includes finding the right culture fit. I thrive in a collaborative environment and prefer Patriots, Red Sox, and Bruins fans. At SI, I want a position in a high-energy firm where I can be creative, leverage my analytical and communication skills. Oh, I also want world peace.
5 years ago, I found myself in a Beijing hospital with my knee cut to the bone and my friend in a coma. We had fallen down the Great Wall of China. 27 stitches later, I completed the trip. Hi, my name is Lillian Clark, and I'm standing in front of you today because I try things. I don't try them because they're easy or comfortable. I try them because it's the fastest way to grow. Fast forward 2 years from my China trip to my last job. I was working at a company that had essentially no marketing. I saw this as an opportunity to try things. So I rebuilt their website from scratch, developed an email list of over 5,000 subscribers, and secured dozens of professional partnerships. Over the course of 3 years, I grew their marketing platform from the ground up, and we increased revenue 130% year over year. I didn't achieve results like this because I came in knowing exactly what to do. I got them because I tried things. If you're looking for a curious marketer who isn't afraid to get her hands dirty, doing whatever it takes to achieve meaningful growth, let's talk.
I am a connectome. A connectome is a unique set of neurons that make us uniquely different from one another. For the past 10 years, I've been studying neuroscience. I've executed on a number of complex questions while managing research labs. I was in the forefront of scientific innovation, creating novel therapeutics that have direct impact to the clinic. I am now seeking business development opportunities in the digital health and biotechnology space. My mission is to drive your business forward while creating direct clinic impact. I am an MBA candidate, an innovator. I'm a volunteer. I am my connectome.
My name is Ashwati. I am a developer with a strong background in computer science and programming. I have waited 4 years to get my golden ticket, that is my work authorization, to get an opportunity to work and stand here. During these years, I did a graduate program in computer science at Tufts, besides my master's in computer science from India. I'm a creative problem solver. I like to think programming as an interesting puzzle. Also, I like to take challenges and try to solve them with enthusiasm and passion. I have done both front-end as well as back-end projects in areas of e-commerce, healthcare, and even virtual reality. I want to work for a company that building product which provides value to people's life. If you are that company, then I would love to talk with you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dani, and I'm still getting used to all of your accents. I came to SI in September from Brazil, looking to immerse myself in the tech and innovation community. Previously in Brazil, I was a corporate lawyer working with M&A and antitrust. For the last year, I've worked in management consulting, mainly for the very exciting sector of oil and gas. What I decided is that real change comes from the inside, not from your lawyer's advice or your management's report. And that's what I want to be, an insider, someone that can see the idea start, develop, and succeed or not. I'm looking to be a community builder, drawing people in and making sure people stay connected in a fruitful way. I'm looking for a high-growth company, either in Series B or C, that has people ready to make an impact and have a laugh together. Like Tom Brady found Giselle and won the Super Bowl, I'm your short Giselle.
incredibly tenacious, which I saw in my previous career in mental health care. While working at the bipolar clinic at Massachusetts General Hospital, I saw individuals overcome not only mental illness, but also indescribable adversity. And to see that is to see sheer proof of the strength of the human spirit. I realized I enjoyed building communities and relationships when we launched Mood Network, an online community for 50,000 patients with mood disorders, plus clinicians and researchers. Another arena in which one can see the toughness of human nature is athletics, which I can attest to being an avid distance runner. I like things fast, and I wanted to make a more immediate impact. The determination, heart, and tenacity that are required for success in running carry over to the other parts of my life. So I left my job at Massachusetts General Hospital to join the technical marketing track at Startup Institute. A marathon and Startup Institute cover different kinds of distance and discomfort, but both are equally rewarding. I want to join a company in the fitness or wellness space because I believe that in athletics, we're all inspired to be better than we were yesterday. To run a little faster, to throw a little farther, jump a little higher. If you're a company that's in the business of helping others and inspiring them to be better, I'd love to join y'all's team. Thank you.
Golf club engineers and fine artists. When I was in 7th grade, I made a paper bridge that weighed less than a CD and held 449 pounds. The school ran out of weights to put on it, and I ended up winning an award for it at the end of the year. Before I came to SI, I was working as a project manager in the telecom industry. And although it was fast-paced and complex, I was severely lacking a creative outlet. I realized this and tried to remedy by working late nights as an apprentice tailor. But I realized creating things in a workshop gave me so much more joy than my day job. I knew I needed to change. I needed to create. This notion prompted me to take a risk, which was quitting my job and enrolling in Startup Institute's web design program. During my time at SI, I focused on turning myself into a UX UI mobile designer, which is what I've become. I apply the same minimalistic approach to my design now as I did to the bridge in 7th grade. Maximum efficiency for best possible outcome. I can now honestly say I look forward to the problems I'll get to help solve, the people I'll get to work with, and the creative direction I'll get to live my life in as I continue to work as a designer in Boston. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Susan, and I've worked in the software industry for 14 years. I've been a developer all the way to product manager. I've been a developer for 7 years. The reason I'm here now is because I'm returning from the most important job I've ever had, raising my 2 boys. I've worked for many companies, including startups, one of which achieved an IPO, and another one was acquired by a billion-dollar company. I've worked on leading-edge technology, including touchscreens and object-oriented languages back in the 1990s. I have many other projects that I would love to share with you. Today, at the Startup Institute, they brought me back to the leading edge. With Ruby on Rails, Node.js, and JavaScript, with Agile project management, and with all of you, the innovative companies of the startup world. I'm very excited to jump back in as a fresh start and go back to what I really love, development. If you're a SaaS company and you're looking for someone with proven experience, come talk to me today.
My friend took this photo during our 5,000-kilometer bicycle trip across continental Asia. Our goal? Get to Vietnam. Didn't matter which way we took so long as we got there before the money ran out. It took 10 months and a little over $4,000. It was terrifying, lonely, and exhausting. But I learned a lot about facing the unknown and about keeping a healthy sense of humor. But seeing the world changing so quickly, the landscapes, the economies, the people, I wanted to make a bigger impact. I love this planet, and it's falling apart, and I didn't think enough was being done about it. I came home and did a master's in psychology at Harvard because I wanted to learn how to change people's minds, how to bring them from A to B. In the technical marketing track at Startup Institute, I learned how to take that expertise and bring it to scale. changing people's minds in the magnitude of millions. Now I want to join a high-growth company that's trying to literally save the world. I want to tackle some of the biggest challenges you're facing. I don't care how hard it is. As long as we know where we want to be, I know we'll find a way.
In kindergarten, I assigned number values to the stickers we received on assignments so I could measure my performance and track my progress over time. This desire to quantify things, measure results, and analyze information to draw conclusions has remained with me my entire life. In college, I studied literature, not just because I love reading, writing, and persuasive communication, but because I love to dive into complex language, take it apart, and restructure it in ways that prove a thesis or argument. In my professional life at Harvard, as a program manager, I led cross-functional teams in improving business processes across 6 Harvard schools. I was the first person in my unit to assign metrics and gather data so we could actually quantifiably measure the impact of our projects. It was that initiative that inspired me to take an accelerated statistics course, to come to Startup Institute and study technical marketing, and take my first steps learning SQL and Python. I'm very excited to find a role where I can marry my love of analytics and persuasive communication with numbers, where I can use quantifiable data and analyze it to find conclusions, and where I can transform your company's customer data into insights and actions.
I am a designer and an artist. I love to create something out of nothing, tinkering with things to see how they work. My biggest drive is to make a difference in people's lives. When I joined the Navy for 4 years at the USS Eisenhower, I learned core values like teamwork, always strive for excellence, and never make excuses. Since then, I went to graduate school. I received an MFA from Tufts University in visual arts. But I realized I want to build an experience. I want to reach the public through design in a meaningful way. I'm looking for a company that uses design to solve problems. If you're looking for somebody who thrives under pressure and likes a fast-paced environment, contact me.
She wasn't kidding when she said this is intimidating. When I was a kid, my parents would not let my brothers and sister and I buy any toys that we could make at home. Now, the reasons probably had more to do with money. But for me, that meant that I got to grow up in a world where everything had the possibility of being something new and better. And this is a lesson that has stuck with me for my entire life. The phrase, "there has to be a better way to do this," runs through my head almost daily, and I love the process of trying to figure out what that way is. Breaking things down into elements and visualizing the right tools is a challenge that I love. In art school, those tools were chisels and sandblasters with elements like wood and glass. As a program manager, the elements were the people on my team, and I built the tools to track performance and communication. And in front-end development, I found my balance. Puzzling together lines of code and actually seeing the output of that is something that really resonates with me. It's visual and abstract, requires creativity and logic, and this is where I want to live. If this is something that your company needs, I invite you to come say hello.
Hi, I'm Pavel, and I'm a physician who is going into sales. Yes, I am an MD. So what the heck am I doing here? days after graduating medical school, I was on a plane to Boston. I worked in a research lab. I worked in bioinformatics. I worked in the biotech industry, where I used my medical expertise every single day. But I also realized that what I really enjoy is being in customers-facing roles, including sales. I co-founded one of the first startups that does data mining in biomedicine as a service. So what can I do for you? If you need to sell a new product into a new market, if you're looking for someone who is not afraid to figure things out, then you should talk to me. If you want to grow internationally, as a French citizen, I'm authorized to work in any country of the European Union, no questions asked. And just in case you're wondering, I got my US green card this year, which means I will never have to worry about being sponsored for a visa again. I'm Pavel, I'm an MD, and you can bet I'm gonna be the best sales rookie ever.
Good morning. My name is Casey, spelled with a C, and the one word that best describes me is calm. That makes me Calm Casey. The proof? For the past 8 years, I've worked to eliminate the chaos and bullying that happens on elementary school recess yards. When's the last time you've been to recess? Imagine remaining calm amid 500 running, screaming children. As program director at Playworks, I hired and managed a team of more than 30 people. I was at my most focused and productive when everything and everyone around me was moving at a frenetic pace. Because of my program leadership, more than 15,000 students across the state of Massachusetts benefited. Does your smart, eager team need an experienced leader? Do you have customers who need to be listened to with an empathetic ear? Call Calm Casey.
I'm a UX UI designer and parkour practitioner. My passion for both lies in approaching obstacles and finding the most creative ways to achieve successful results from them. Let's just talk about the one that hasn't come close to breaking any of my bones yet. Throughout life, I've been fascinated with people, aesthetics, and the way they compel each other. I love noticing the little objects that build our world, how they've been designed, and maybe how they could be designed better. I've been a designer professionally for 4 years, print and web, desktop to mobile, working closely with clients to make their lives easier, and taking home a Communicator Award along the way for my work. Before Startup Institute, I was working as a production artist, which was a great experience, but didn't give me many opportunities to work with users to make their lives easier using research and design. Now, after idea hacks, sprints, conducting my own user research, and building on my own foundations for design, I'm looking for a startup where I can focus on user experience and user interface design and apply my passion for both to your company, products, and users. Find me. My name is Garrett, and I'd love to talk.
No, Rock, why the fanny pack? I used to laugh, I used to cringe. I've gone beyond that now. And I understand, Dwayne, you need to carry stuff accessibly. Just as I understand him, so too I want to understand everyone who can make your products valuable and memorable. I spent the last 5 years working at Yardi Systems, hand in hand with developers. I wanted to work more with users. So Yardi invited me out to California to join their marketing team. I wanted to stay in Boston. I wanted to be a product manager. So I came to SI to join with salespeople, marketers, developers, designers, most of all, users. At a small to medium-sized startup, I want to be that bridge. I want to be that glue to bring understanding. Why can't our developers see the product through the features? Why are we leading customers to products they refuse to use? Do you understand them? I'm the product manager who will make sure you do.
When I was a kid, I remember long car trips where I would just sit there and conjure up insanely profound one-liners that I thought would change people's lives. When I felt one with the world by sharing my song, dance, and tenderly placed Band-Aids on the people around me. And I remember feeling one with loving my friends so much it hurt. So now I'm a product manager with a computer science degree. And I actually see my childhood values reflected in all the work that I do. As a general manager, I increased the revenue of a multi-million-dollar company by 300% by changing a transactional-based buying experience into a personal conversation with our customers. As a product manager, I broke through long-standing communication barriers between cross-functional teams by learning and speaking each team's language and finding out what motivated them. Going forward, I want to be part of a highly collaborative team where I can set my mind free on challenges that will use technology to make an emotional impact. I'm Lisa Lynn, product manager, and I am really excited and ready to help you guys create products that will make your users feel profoundly inspired, one with the world, and loving so much it hurts.
In 2009, my best friend Mike McNeil passed away from cancer. One thing he taught me was to never give up. I'd like to share a couple stories about that today. In college, for my senior capstone project, I decided to design a beer brand, specifically to get a job at Harpoon Brewery. My teacher quickly told me, "You'll never get a job there." I didn't give up, and I got an internship after graduation. I'm a co-founder of the Mike McNeil Organization, a role in which I wear many hats. Our nonprofit hosts pub crawls. We don't do walks. We've had over 2,500 pub crawls in the last 7 years and have raised $90,000 benefiting cancer research at Mass General Hospital. After Harpoon, I went to Surmo, where I was the design lead on a new market research product. I was also on the team that designed the new Surmo mobile app. I'm looking for a UX UI role in a process-driven team looking to make the complex simple. Mikey never stopped fighting, and neither will I. Thank you.
Hi, Mom. Music. It's my love. It connects people. As a Zumba instructor, I use music and dance to connect with people of different backgrounds and ages. No matter your story, music brings people together. For the past 10 years, I've used this passion to help companies move into new territories, understand the market, and connect a bridge to their customers. At C-Space, I launched the very first online community in Latin America with over 500 moms fully facilitated in Spanish. I knew that in order to have the biggest impact with both the client and the customer, I had to take off my researcher hat and take on the personality of those moms. I became their friend, their mentor, and their confidant. And for the client, I became that bridge. I truly enjoyed making these connections for others, but I was still looking for my own. That's where Startup Institute came along. They helped me realize that it's finally my turn. It's time for me to find my music. If you're looking for a marketer who's going to roll up her sleeves, help you understand and build a relationship with your customers, help you attack the challenges ahead, but also challenge you to take a dance break and shake it out when things don't go as planned, then we should talk.
Hi, I am Manuel, and I am a software engineer with a dash of mad scientist thrown in there. I take it as a point of pride that my fellow developers say that if you love business, you love product, and you actually love to talk to end users, you're a little bit of a wild, crazy, user-friendly software engineer. I have 15 years of coding experience and helped create a surgical information system from the ground up, saved a product line by creating an encryption scheme to save early regulatory death, and led my company's division into the cloud. Then I tried my hand at building my own startup and fell in love with startup culture. Now, as that mountain of mountains of entrepreneurship looms above, as we prepare for that climb and try to reach for the stars, I realize that the best is yet to come. If you believe that leadership is standing by, ready to help, always being second so that your team can be first, then we need to talk. Because then we shall become makers, making something that's going to be just absolutely, ginormously, sparklingly, incredibly awesome.
10 years ago, I was sitting in a field in Paraguay. I was sipping tea out of a hollowed-out bull's horn and shooting the breeze with local farmers. At the time, I was with an organization selling stoves to those who may have had acres of crops, but still cooked on an open fire. Listening to their stories was invaluable to understanding how our product, which they'd never heard of, could become a solution they couldn't live without. Sales is all about stories, about giving people the opportunity to tell their story in order to solve their problems. I did this in real estate, listening carefully to people's stories in order to provide them with excellent property solutions. At the time, I was one of the top 3 agents out of 150 in the largest rental firm in Boston. I did this with my own startup, which allowed talented local chefs to provide meals to the Boston community and tell their story. I would love to apply my passion for sales to a startup whose story is changing the industry narrative. By truly listening to people's stories and providing real solutions to the problems we hear, there's absolutely no limit to the change we can make in the story of Boston, Paraguay, and the world.
Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm a waitress and I love it. I get to talk to people and hear their stories. Before I was a waitress, I was an academic for over 10 years. I taught literature, film, ethnic studies, and women's studies. I taught at Harvard and Yale and had really amazing students, but somewhere along the way I realized that I didn't want to be writing academic articles, I wanted to be telling stories. I realized that a company builds a brand and an identity through telling a story, and it's something I wanted to help do. I joined the Startup Institute. Our first homework assignment in the technical marketing track was to create a blog. I wrote a post about an experience I had teaching. It went viral. Within a week, it had over 80,000 hits. I was approached by Salon, Medium, The Daily Beast, and Slate, and the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal interviewed me about my experience. I sold it to Salon, and it's been shared over 27,000 times. If you need help finding a voice in order to tell your story, come talk to me, or call me on my cell phone.
Part designer, part technologist. I come from a background working at Apple and Microsoft, sprouting the user engagement for iCloud and creating captivating customer experiences for Office 365 and the Microsoft Surface has allowed me to build a foundation in crafting my journey. Blending that experience with the time that I spent here at the Startup Institute has allowed me to bridge the gap in becoming a UX designer. A design thinking process starts by understanding with the value of why. My why is a passion I have for creating magical experiences that go beyond just the user experience. It provides a signal of hope and encouragement that allows you to understand the value and the meaning behind the products. I am a problem solver, a storyteller, a UX designer, and I want to understand your why. Let's start crafting our journey together.
So I went to Harvard Mudd, an engineering school, and people often wonder how I went from studying physics to working in marketing. Well, one summer I joined a B2B sales and marketing agency, and one of the first projects I worked on was managing their SEO. At the time, nobody really knew what that was, but figuring it out was honestly some of the most fun I've ever had, and within a month we were ranking #1 for lead development service. That was the first time that I really got to see the real-world impact of my work, as organic top-of-funnel leads were evolving into real opportunities to grow the business. So I left physics to do marketing full-time and dive deeper into the world of B2B sales, and eventually ended up at Accomplice, a VC firm here in Boston, because making measurable differences in people's lives is what truly excites me, even as much as the new Star Wars movie. Thank you.
Do you know that feeling when you hire a new employee and they go above and beyond your expectations? Hello, my name is John Ryan. I am a UX designer dedicated to finding the best feelings in the world. I explore human emotions through sound and color and enjoy creating positive experience for those around me. I live in the intersection of art and business, and with my degree in advertising, I've helped early stage startups with various creative skills such as branding, graphic design, video and photography, while generating revenue growth and marketing strategies. I believe that with empathy in users' core needs and with intuitive design, we can tackle the most challenging problems in our world. Today, I feel excited. Excited to bring my talent to the great city of Boston and to take on creative projects for the future of human race. Because there's no better feeling than finding love and fulfillment in our work, connecting consumers emotionally with the products we create, seeing our rocket ship soar, and hearing that champagne bottle pop. Thank you.
La primera cosa que recuerdo haber vendido, the first thing that I remember selling was tickets to a puppet show when I was 7 years old. As I stand still and look back at my 7-year-old self, I can clearly see that selling is in my blood. When I was 16, I found myself selling great smelling clothes at Abercrombie & Fitch. When I was 19, I was in the aisles of Best Buy selling printers where I was actually getting more offers than I was printer sales. At 20, I co-founded TEDxUC Irvine where I was selling an idea that brought together a team, our sponsors, and the campus community. And finally, at 23, I worked with 2 early stage startups where I was figuring out how to create sales scripts as well as develop collateral material to help drive sales. All these experiences have taught me 3 main things. The first, that it takes a team to build something worthwhile. The second, that action speaks louder than words. And the third, that persistence and determination are vital in any venture. I moved from Irvine to Boston because I realized that I still have a lot to learn. I'm looking for a team that is fast-paced, strives to be better than it was yesterday, and wants to sell. Gracias.
When it was first suggested to me that I come to Startup Institute, I thought, no way, I don't think I'd fit in here. I have over 20 years work experience. I've managed brands at companies like Ben & Jerry's and Hasbro, and I spent the last 9 years at C-Space helping the company grow from $10 million to $100 million. I opened an office in Sydney, and most recently I was a VP of Client Services. And to be honest, what I was most afraid of, I might be old enough to be everybody's mother. But hey, they say I look pretty good for my age. I quickly thought that thinking that way wouldn't get me anything that I wanted. I want to be surrounded by people who challenge and inspire me and think differently, and to be part of growing something that we can all feel proud of together. I found that here at Startup Institute, and as you can see, I found a group of amazing, brilliant, talented people who come in all ages. And now that I've found this, I can't settle for anything less. I'm a marketer and a builder. I've built brands, products, process, teams, and relationships. And I'm looking to bring my skills and experience to a startup here in Boston. So if that sounds interesting to you, my name is Rayla. Let's talk.
graduated in 2009. It was an interesting time to be entering the job market. So I rolled up my sleeves, got myself an entry-level job in the copy center of a Boston law firm. I spent the next 6 years working upwards, from project to project, position to position, culminating in coordinating a multi-million-dollar technology rollout. Eventually, though, I need a new challenge. I went to an SI open house, and I fell in love. I talked to my boss the next day. He offered me a promotion, but I had to counter with my letter of resignation. And at the sales track at SI, I learned how to sell, but more than that, I learned how to be. Be authentic, be confident, be passionate, be human. Now I'm looking forward to crushing inside sales, Boston startup, that understands the importance of work-life balance. I look out here today at people who are going to change the world. Not just in my cohort, but everyone here in the Boston startup community. You're here because you have amazing ideas, and you need the best people to pull them off. We are those people. My name is Charles Ritchie. Let's be awesome together.
I am an artist and an engineer. Since I was a child in Venezuela and then in the United States, my favorite things to do have always been drawing and taking things apart to see how they work. In college, this translated to theater production, where I wore many hats. After college, I found myself in manufacturing, designing large industrial motors for electric machinery in Minneapolis, Minnesota. During the day, I built designs to upgrade old machines and create new technologies. At night, as a stage manager, I built relationships and processes to run a theater production smoothly. This last year, one of my plays won an Ivy Award for Best Overall Production in Theater, and my engineering design team doubled the amount of projects completed per quarter. I moved to Boston so my wife could go to grad school, and I came to SI looking for a career where my engineering brain and artistic heart could work together to solve design problems. If you are a company who is looking for someone who needs to be challenged daily and will contribute to a diverse, dynamic, and creative environment as a designer and front-end developer, let's talk.
Hi, I'm Nancy, and last year I took a leap. I became the marketing director for a professional regional theater that hadn't done any marketing in 3 years. I helped produce their most successful season ever, developing content marketing strategies that drove more people, including younger people, into the seats, and increasing subscriptions by 160% in less than 12 months. Before leaping into marketing, my career was in educational publishing. I created many products, successful, based on content that's informative, engaging, and enriching. At Harcourt, I led a team of content developers to take a product line from last place to a 50% market share. One of my proudest accomplishments was at Pearson Education, where I created an online resource to help teachers explain 9/11 to their kids. I generated all the content within days of the attack. The site has been maintained and is still in use today. I'm an experienced content marketer and creator. I have the skills and expertise that will make your company grow. Let's take the next leap together.
I'm a product and acquisition marketer. I like figuring out ways to gain awareness around a great product, figuring out ways to continuously improve it, and foster a sense of community around it. I see the sales funnel as a kind of water slide that then leads to a swimming pool that is the community at the end of it. My job is to make sure that there is water on that water slide and that the swimming pool at the end, community, is a great place to hang out in, with nice weather, crazy noodles, and a swim margarita bar. I have a background in sustainability consulting, in which I was literally thrown into the jungle, the Amazon jungle, for 6 months and told to figure it out. I did, and I learned that I work great outside of my comfort zone, Surprisingly well surrounded by exotic animals also. I'm looking to join a very small to medium-sized company of ambitious and motivated people that are trying to create a innovative and disruptive product. When I say hire, you say Jake. Hire. Jake. Hire. Jake.
One day, my college brought in an alumni at Capcom, and he said something that blew my mind. The original Resident Evil was not designed to be played outside of Japan. As someone who is clearly not the target market, it made me wonder what was my relationship with this text and with that user. I ended up writing a senior thesis and a dissertation to try to answer those questions, and they're always in the back of my mind. I discovered through my research that games, like websites and apps, are often seen as technological artifacts first, but they are so much more than that. The systems we spend so much time coding work with a semiotic system that is carefully designed to evoke a very specific response from the user. In the case of my Resident Evil example, it turned out that user changed dramatically and they had to make a pivot, something which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And I'm really fascinated by that process. I'm here because I want to be involved in that process. I can code for the front end, I love to code, but I also want to know the whys and the for whoms. If you're looking for someone to help you develop and design a great new product, I would love to speak with you. If you're looking to discuss the socio-political history of Resident Evil with someone, I would also love to speak with you.
If you ever felt like you weren't being challenged enough, then you and I have at least one thing in common. If your name is Ina Tunik, then we have two. The first year of my system analysis and management degree, I realized that the best way to push myself more would be to open my own jewelry company. It became profitable in the first week and is still run by my family who live in Crimea, Ukraine. I've always been interested in finding ways to optimize how time and effort are spent, whether it's individuals or companies. While working for an insurance agency, I increased their revenue by 300% in just 9 months by evaluating funnel marketing activities and using data to analyze and increase sales conversions. I'm looking for a company where I will be deeply involved in operations analysis to achieve greatest possible results and have the opportunity to always strive for optimization. Thank you.
When I was 8 years old, it was my dream to design snowboards for a living. At 15, I wanted to be a luxury car designer. At 20, an editorial designer. And now at 24, I'm a UX UI designer. My career goals have changed over the years, but you can see being a designer is pretty much all I've ever wanted to do. So my initial fondness for design has turned into a lifelong passion. And following that passion has led me on an incredible journey. From doing 3 years of freelance work, to spending 4 months in Australia, where I studied web and advertising design, to this year graduating with a fine arts degree from Evangel University in Missouri, where I was also awarded Outstanding Graduate in Graphic Design. Now my journey has led me here to Boston, where I'm looking to further develop my skill set and join a team of passionate creative professionals. I'm excited to see where the next step in my journey will take me, and if you share in that excitement, I'd love to talk. Thank you.
I feel a little bit like a rapper's hype girl. I'm Ellie, the child of immigrants, a first-generation American. From a young age, I was a storyteller and a problem solver. I grew up translating the world for my parents, essentially redesigning it for them in a way that made it easier for them to understand. Even then, I understood how important it is to apply empathy to problem solving and to view the world from someone else's eyes. I'm a UX designer. For 8 years, I was a digital producer for ad agencies, running multi-million-dollar campaigns for brands such as Panera, Cadillac, and Hummer, winning multiple W3 awards. I led cross-functional teams in creating amazing web and app experiences, ensuring the user was understood at every point in the process. That resulted in very high user engagement and, I love you guys. Which resulted in high user engagement and brand awareness. Nowadays, I am applying research, design, and technology in a very different way, creating products that are intuitive for people. For instance, I designed an app, a mobile app, for users, made it much easier for them to find the very popular Boston chicken and rice guys food truck. Save the hangry, save the world. If you are a company that wants to solve the big everyday problems that consumers face, making life easier for everyone from my immigrant parents to really hungry, stomach grumbling chicken and rice food truck fans, then let's take that journey together.
My high school football coach used to quote Seneca, the Roman philosopher, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." And I think I'm just kind of starting to figure that out. My name is Tim Yacobian, and I know how to get lucky. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I was born and raised here. And I only mention that because last fall I embarked on a 94-day backpacking trip in the Rocky Mountains. And before that, I had never even been camping. So to prepare, I relentlessly researched everything from the equipment that I might need to possible scenarios that I might find myself in. When I tell my friends about some of the scarier experiences, like surviving a midnight rock fall in the slot canyons of Utah, I hear a lot how lucky I was. And I usually just reply that I was prepared. Startup Institute has been another adventure, and in a lot of ways, it has been just as scary as the wilderness. But with the skills that I've learned in the sales track, combined with 5 years experience as a sales behavior coach in my family's retail consulting firm, I am prepared for the opportunities ahead. So if you're looking for a salesperson who is going to create his own luck in any situation, let's talk.
Amazing work, guys. So you guys, let's hear it for the class. So I'd like to invite everybody into the lobby. We have food. I'd like you guys to meet and mingle with them. So come on out. We'll have food and entertainment out there.
I don't want to go out there. I want to stay here. He's like, I don't want to stay out there.
You did too, if it wasn't for you.
Sorry.
Awesome.
That's my Nicole. Thank you.
Honestly, I'm so glad you did.
That's my Nicole. That's my Nicole.
I think you did.
Jayla.
Rayla. I just only I didn't say
Thank you. Yeah. It was great. Where are you working now? Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm starting a new job in